The story begins in the peaceful Scottish Highlands. A young boy named Jimmy is watching Teletubbies with his two sisters. It's a normal day until their mother rushes into the room, clearly terrified. Something terrible is happening outside. In a panic, she tries to lock the children inside for their safety, but it's too late. A group of people infected with the rage virus breaks into the house, attacking everything in sight. Jimmy barely manages to escape the horror. His sisters aren't so lucky. Jimmy runs across the fields to a nearby church, where his father, a local priest, is waiting. The priest knows the infected will come for him too. He hugs Jimmy and gives him a crucifix necklace, telling him to stay hidden. Jimmy watches from a hiding place as the infected break through the doors and overwhelm the church, infecting his father, just as he had expected. The screen fades to black, and a message appears. The rage virus has destroyed the United Kingdom. It was kept away from the rest of Europe, and the British mainland was locked down completely. Any survivors had to fend for themselves with no help coming. Now, 28 years later, life has changed. A small group of survivors has built a village on the island of Lindisfarne. In this new world, a man named Jamie is preparing his son Spike for a dangerous rite of passage. Spike is about to leave the safety of the village walls to kill his first infected creature using a bow and arrow. It's a tradition, a symbol of becoming a man in this harsh world. Spike's mother, Isla, is very sick and spends most of her days in bed. The villagers gather and cheer as Spike heads out with his father. They walk through dense forests and soon find a group of bloated infected. Jamie and Spike use their arrows to bring them down. Jamie lands a perfect shot to the neck of one of them, while Spike learns how hard and terrifying it can be. Deeper in the woods, they find a strange sight, an infected man tied upside down inside an abandoned house. He snarls and struggles violently. Spike hesitates, unsure when to strike. Before he can act, the infected breaks loose. In the chaos, Spike manages to fire an arrow straight into its head. Later, while returning toward the village, Spike notices a distant fire burning in the mainland. He's curious, but Jamie warns him not to pay attention to that place and avoids giving details. Not long after, they are ambushed by a pack of infected. These ones are different, stronger, and more cunning, led by a towering alpha infected who is clearly in control. Jamie and Spike manage to kill several of them but are forced to hide in a nearby house. They wait until nightfall before making a run for the village. It's not easy. The high tide makes the return path through the marsh harder to cross. The alpha charges after them, fast and relentless. Jamie desperately calls for help, and the village guards respond just in time, firing a giant flaming arrow that strikes the alpha in the chest. It howls in pain and stumbles away. The gates open, and Jamie and Spike are finally safe. Back inside, the villagers celebrate Spike's return and bravery. A feast is held in his honor. But the mood changes when Spike sees Jamie sneak away during the celebration. He follows and finds his father having an affair with another woman. The image shatters everything Spike believed about his father. The next morning, Spike confronts Jamie. He asks if Jamie knows anything about the man said to live near the burning area, a mysterious figure called Dr. Kelson. Jamie stays quiet, not answering. Spike accuses him of not caring enough to try to save Isla, his dying wife. Their argument grows heated, ending with Jamie slapping Spike. Realizing his mistake, Jamie tries to apologize, but Spike pulls a knife and warns him to stay away from both him and his mother. Determined to find Kelson and possibly save Isla, Spike takes her and leaves the village for the mainland. Isla, weak and confused, often calls Spike Dad, revealing her fading memory. As they travel, a group of NATO soldiers also lands on the mainland. But their arrival goes wrong. The infected attack fiercely, and some soldiers get bitten. Only 3 survive, escaping into a dark tunnel. Inside that tunnel, they meet a terrifying new alpha, even bigger and more brutal than the last one. The beast tears one soldier's head clean off, the spine still attached. Meanwhile, Spike and Isla take refuge in an old gas station. But danger soon follows. The infected find them breaking through the doors. Just as they're about to be overwhelmed, A young soldier named Eric appears. He shoots the leaking gas tanks, blowing up the entire station and the infected inside. Though tired and frustrated, Eric agrees to help the pair. He wants to find his missing unit, but Spike and Isla are now part of his mission. As they travel together, Eric and Spike bond, sharing stories about the world beyond the quarantine zone. For the first time, Spike hears about life outside the UK. But peace doesn't last long. The group stumbles upon a bus filled with bodies. Inside, a single infected woman is giving birth. Isla, feeling a strange connection, tries to calm her. The infected woman briefly becomes peaceful, holding hands with Isla as she delivers her baby. But moments later, she snaps and attacks. Eric shoots her to protect the others. To their surprise, the newborn baby girl shows no signs of infection. Eric, following strict rules, plans to kill the baby anyway to prevent future risk. But before he can act, the terrifying Alpha reappears. It grabs Eric, and in a brutal display, rips his head and spine out just like before. Spike and Isla run, terrified. Just as the Alpha closes in, a man appears and shoots it with a tranquilizer dart. This is Dr. Kelson, the one they were searching for. He calls the Alpha Samson, and says he created a drug to keep it under control. Kelson takes them to his hideout, a strange place he calls the Bone Temple. It's a shrine made from the skulls of infected and fallen survivors, a grim reminder of the world's end. Kelson adds Eric's skull to the tower, cleaning the flesh off with fire. He examines the baby girl and determines that she is immune because her mother's placenta protected her from the rage virus. Then he turns to Isla. After a careful examination, Kelson delivers painful news: Isla has terminal cancer. She doesn't have long to live. Spike is crushed by the news, but Isla comforts him, telling him it's okay. That night, Kelson gives Spike something to help him sleep. While Spike is unconscious, Isla decides to let Kelson end her suffering. When Spike wakes up, Kelson presents him with Isla's skull. Though heartbroken, Spike carries her remains up the skull tower and gently places her at the top. The next day, Kelson and Spike are once again hunted by Samson. They jump into a deep pit to escape. As Samson tries to choke Kelson, Spike uses one of Kelson's morphine darts to knock the Alpha out again. After the attack, the two part ways. Spike returns to Lindisfarne with the baby girl, now named Isla, in memory of his mother. He leaves a note for the villagers, asking them to take care of her because she's immune and humanity's last hope. Jamie sees the note and runs out into the water, shouting for his son. But it's high tide and Spike is gone. 28 days later, Spike is alone, cooking fish he caught by hand. Suddenly, infected attack again. He kills one, but more follow. He runs, dodging through the trees until he reaches a dead end. Seems like the end, until help arrives. A strange man with blonde hair appears, dressed in white, along with a group of people who look just like him. They fight in a synchronized, acrobatic style, taking down the infected with skill and precision. After the battle, the blonde man introduces himself. He's Jimmy, the same boy from the beginning, now grown. He still wears the crucifix his father gave him all those years ago. He tells Spike that they should stick together.